It's hump day and it's weather for Weather Geeks time here on January 14th. Welcome back, everyone. Wanted to start out today with a cool satellite picture from yesterday when we had a mostly clear sky across the region. This shows, of course, this is Lake Erie up here. Here's northern Ohio. Taking a look down to the south, what you're seeing here is snow on the ground, not cloud cover. We had a sunny day yesterday. Well, here's Mosquito Lake right here, Pymatuning, the reservoir right up here. And, of course, here is Youngstown. And what's interesting is Lake Erie is icing over pretty quickly. It's been a slow process because of how warm December was. But now, while there is some cloudiness mixed in here, this is certainly legitimate ice up here on the northern half of the lake. The western end of Lake Erie is the shallow end. It ices over first, and this is a pretty good area of ice out here on the west end of Lake Erie. Lake St. Clair, just north of Detroit, is frozen over. So the process is really happening fast now with all the cold weather we've had lately, and with temperatures not really expected to get much above freezing until Saturday. There will continue to be an increase in ice on Lake Erie. Of course, our shallower, smaller lakes have already frozen over, and most of northeast Ohio and into western Pennsylvania as well. I'm viewing this on Google Earth. Really cool way to visualize this stuff. You can see where the snow on the ground ends. Right down here, this anywhere north of that was snow. Now this is all cloud cover at the bottom of your screen, south of the Ohio River yesterday. But this gray area here, this is snow on the ground, and it comes up to about right there, kind of like that. This is all bare ground down in southeast Ohio. All right, let's move on and talk about today. Now I'm showing you the satellite picture from a few hours ago. We started the day with sunshine, a clear, cold night last night, but now we have this bank of clouds that a few hours ago was right here, right along I-80. But as I fast forward to the current satellite picture, it's advanced all the way up into northwest PA. This was somewhat unexpected today. We expected a little more sun than this, but sometimes these banks of stratus clouds, low clouds, can be a little unpredictable, and they have snuck pretty far up to the north and east. So it's turned out to be a fairly cloudy day. It was cold this morning. These are low temperatures at backyard weather stations that upload their data to the internet. If you see me show the backyard temperatures graphic on TV, that data is mostly pulled from weather station owners across the region. Some of these are fairly expensive. You know, these can run a couple or a few $100, some of the nicer ones. But most of the nicer ones do allow you to pull the data into the internet, and then that feed I can get into my or our graphics here in-house and show you on that graphic. So that's why some cities are shown on that graphic and some are not. Not everyone has a backyard weather station in your community. So believe me, don't take offense. We don't show your city's temperature because we don't like your city. We don't show it because no one has a backyard station that can upload to the internet. Anyway, I had -4 at my house in Boardman this morning. -10 was the cold spot across our viewing area up in Newton Falls. That tends to be a cold spot up there, out in western Trumbull County. Check out some of these readings southwest of Cleveland. And these are, pretty legitimate, I think. 10, 12 below this morning. This 22 below is not legitimate, but 10 or 12 below, I believe that, southwest of Cleveland this morning. Cold start to the day. Now, despite the clouds, temperatures are making some progress this afternoon as we head into the 2 o'clock hour. Upper teens to around 20 throughout the Mahoning and Shenango valleys. It's cold in much of the eastern half of the country again today. Here's a look at the overall temperatures where you see these kind of deep reds. That's cold. But if you watched Weather Geeks yesterday, showed you a lot of below zero temperatures up here in Quebec. At least it's a little warmer up there today. Again, Florida's the place to be. South Florida anyway. North Florida, chilly for them, but 70s in Miami this afternoon. Phoenix is a good place to be. Vegas isn't looking bad, but otherwise this looks like a pretty classic January temperature map across the lower 48 states today. All right, as you probably know, our weather is going to be quiet through Thursday during the daylight hours. Thursday night into Friday morning, that's our next little weather maker. This is a weak little front slipping in. It's going to spark up a couple of flurries, I think, Thursday night and during Friday morning, especially in northwestern Pennsylvania. We're not looking for any local accumulations with this, but you might see a few snowflakes on Friday, mainly in the morning. And despite that being a cold front, the air behind it not significantly chillier at all. It's going to be chilly Friday night, but then Saturday, despite the cold start, pretty rapid warm-up, I think, coming up on Saturday as high pressure slips off to our east. We'll get into a southwest wind. That's a warm wind direction for us. And it's going to be a nice day Saturday. I think we'll make a run at 40 on Saturday. I think that's the better half of the weekend. I say that because Sunday, our next front comes in, and this might produce a couple of snow showers here and there. I guess I can't even rule out rain shower with this, but it's mostly snow showers, I suspect. Probably not any accumulation with that because we'll probably be above freezing most of the day on Sunday. We head into early next week. Shot of cold air behind that front. That's a stronger front. So Martin Luther King Jr. Day Monday and into Tuesday, it's looking pretty cold, although nothing too unusual for January. It does look pretty cold early on next week. But if you're a snow lover and if your business depends on having some snow, this isn't a great pattern for you. We had some snow finally last week, but the next week, not looking particularly snowy in our part of the country. What happens after that, a little too early to say, but the next week, relatively snow-free. Now let's talk real quickly about long-range temperatures. A couple of pattern flips going on here. The pattern's going to flip, I think, ever so slightly for us, more so for Canada and the plain states, but for us, our pattern going out into next week, so about a week from right now. I think the week starts pretty cold, but then a pretty decent warm-up comes middle of next week. Here's the temperature anomalies for the, whoops, let's back this up here. That's what I want. This is for the 21st through, 21st through the 26th of January. So a week from now, heading into the following weekend. Pretty warm pattern for the east, pretty cold pattern for the west. Then another pattern flip comes, and check out how much different this map is right here compared to this map as we head into February. This is the week of the 26th through the 31st. So the final week of January, colder air starting to really make inroads into the pattern. And then here's a look at the first week of February. A lot of cold air across the country. Now, how cold does it get here? Day by day specifics, too early to say, but this is a pattern that will certainly produce some days where we're in the teens and 20s with that kind of cold. Depends on the storm track, but this could be a pretty stormy pattern if this indeed ends up being the temperature anomaly breakdown for that week. You got warm air over the southeast, cold air back here. That means the storm track's probably somewhere in here. So the snow's going to be back. The cold, it's going to be back despite some mild weather for next week. Typical ups and downs in a winter pattern. It's January, it's Northeast Ohio, it's Western Pennsylvania, and we're going to see these fluctuations from time to time. In the meantime, thank you for watching Weather for Weather Geeks on this Wednesday. I'll see you tonight on the news, and you can see another Weather Geeks Thursday afternoon. It's usually online at about 2:30, 3 p.m. See you then.